it's endless. Forget sky is the limit. We've spoken about that. That doesn't exist. So it's outer space, it's next galaxy. But it's like, man, I look forward to it and I enjoy it. Like, it's a blessing. The feedback we get, the feedback you're saying, people running up on you in spots. Like, I watched the podcast. Can we take a picture? Man, like, that's a blessing.
Bro, that's amazing.
That's a blessing. We spoke about that off camera.
Bro,
so it's like stuff like that.
Wow.
That's amazing. That matters. And even if it's just one person, that's all it takes.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it takes. And things like that happen. And it's like, you have to keep going.
Yeah.
You have to.
No, that's a good point. I'm going to dab you up. Oh, shoot. I'm going to dab you up one more time.
Love. Absolutely.
How you doing, bro?
Love.
I forgot to press record, so
we're good,
we're good.
We're good.
But no, bro, I think the last half of what you got done talking about, I think I want to, really focus on that for this time that we are, going to speak about for the next few weeks of being lonely and being and moving, independently. And I think Julian and I, the way we met was so organic. And for any guys that are out there that are in a lonely season, our goal is to try to get you out of that and get you into a path that you're moving independently. And we're going to go into a little bit of what the differences are. But for our example, we never thought that this would happen. Like, we never saw in a year that we would be right here, that this would be a brother, that this would be somebody that would take home to, introduce to my family and to introduce to the values and the things that we've done since we were 4 years old. And I think it can all amount to giving it a shot and just saying, bro, let's just do this once and see how it goes. And if you're a guy out there looking for that type of like companionship, brotherhood, just put yourself available, man. Like, really put yourself in a vulnerable spot to be able to go out in public or just, go around like-minded individuals and be like, hey, well, like, you want to grab some coffee or, I'm really into this. I see you're into that. Like, we should set up a time to where we can, both do this since we both have this hobby. And you'll be surprised with the outcomes that you have. And I ran into Julian twice before we even thought about jumping on a podcast. And I feel like the third time I saw Julian, it was at a gym. And I remember telling him, like, bro, I got this new season. I want you to come on. And he's all, whenever you want, let's do it. I said it that week. And a year from that, that day, we're sitting here on probably our second or third series that we've put together. So
how many episodes have we done?
Man, since December, I would say we've put in probably like 20 Amazing, episodes. Man. And this year we put together, actually, no, I lie. We probably put about 30 to 40. And this year we put together 18 to 20. So
that's a blessing.
Like I said, like consistency, determination, and just the genuine like fact of us coming together. It's a conversation that we're having. Like, this is quality time that me and the homies spend together, and might as well share some insights in, first off, the areas that we improved on in our life and we're still working on, and areas that we still struggle with. So all love, bro. Like I said, I'm glad that we were able to share a little bit of that backstory again, because I do think it's important for the new watchers and the watchers that have been with us week to week to be reminded of nothing happens overnight.
No, for sure. It's all been a journey. But again, the key word that you use is consistency. Yeah. Like, we're at this every week. Like, no matter what, we're at this every week. You text me like, hey, bro, what time, like, what day out the week are you ready? Like, it's very, like, regardless of what, we all have jobs, we're all working, we're all in the gym and have our own lives, but it's like, we're still consistent about this. And that's the key thing, because in any endeavor, regardless of what anybody's aspiring to do, consistency has to be there. We all have the same 24 hours. Yeah. So it's like, we're at this every week. So it's really no excuse. And the blessing is, look at the byproduct. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was all those episodes.
Bro,
man. Like, but just reflecting, it's like, it has to be. Yeah. We were at this every week.
Once you pull yourself out of it and you actually look at it from the top down, it's crazy the amount of work that we put together. And yeah, bro, I think you touched on it perfectly. As men, we are, the only thing we can look back on to be able to judge a man from a boy is consistency and his action rather than the words that we tend to say. So again, to go down this path of, independence and being able to be intentional about the time that you're putting into, especially in these couple of months, I wanted to ask you first, bro, like, what were some areas that you found were helpful for you when maybe you were younger, early 20s, where you were feeling lonely? Like, what helped you get out of that mindset and into a consistent action plan that was working towards a specific purpose?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the biggest thing that anybody can like reflect on in a time of just being lonely or feeling like whatever you're feeling is like, it might seem very, very minute, but it's not. Just think about you've made it to this point now. Now we've spoken about it before, but I don't think people, when you're going through things, I don't think people reflect on necessarily what they've been through to get now. They're just stuck in, I'm going through this in this very moment.
Yeah.
But always remember, like, you've made it to this point. So regardless of what you've been through in the past, it could have been pain, hurt, trials, tribulations. Regardless of what happened, you're still here.
Yeah.
You're still living. So that should bring some type of gratitude in regards to what you have going on. And also, speaking on gratitude, just being thankful. If you're thankful, like, for the things that you do have, let's say your car, your house, food in the refrigerator, friendships, it can get you out of a space of, woe is me, or I'm lonely. Because there are times of life, things happen. You're going to feel a certain way. But if you think like, wow, okay, I have friendship, I have a roof over my head, I have a job, I have some money in my account, like I have a car, like I can go to the gym, my faculties work, like everything is on point.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
I have my health, whatever it, like when you start listing those things, it should get you out of a space of feeling like, oh, I'm going through this, or I'm going through that. No, start being grateful. Pray. Thank God. Like, thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus, for my health. Thank you for my job. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for money in my account. Thank you for like eyesight. It's just like, no, be thankful.
Yeah.
And hopefully that can pull you out of maybe just a little bit out of what you're feeling. But I think just constantly remembering like you made it this far. Just constantly remind. I do that all the time. Like, you made it this far. Right. Regardless of whatever's happened, you're still here.
Analyzing it, man. Analyzing your situation.
That's it. Yep.
No, that's a good one. I would add to that, and it's from the book, 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And I was actually talking about that book today with a friend, and living the life of the unknown. I think a lot of us tend to have these 5-year plans, right? Which you always hear about, hey, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? And I'm not saying planning is bad, but what I will say is when we get too caught up with the futuristic items, especially as men, you start missing out on the things that he's talking about, the blessings, the understanding that we're healthy, we can walk, we can see, we can go to the gym, like we can freely move however we want. And living in the unknown, basically that chapter is talking about how every day is a new opportunity for you to make the most of it. Whether it is you want to try a new hobby, you want to try going to a new gym, or you just want to put yourself in a coffee shop and meet new people, you can do all of those things if you just apply the energy to it. And I think there are times where I can get into those funks where I just got to remind myself, I have the ability to make an impact in somebody's day, or I can just go out and come across someone new and just have a conversation with them. So I would say use those 2 tips for you guys to your disposal. And I think you'll find some real success that comes out of it, especially in this time that we're talking about. I'm going to refer to this whole episode of, being lonely and being independent. And I think doing those 2 things is going to move you on a path of independence, which is going to allow you to be able to find the fun in things, to find the joy in things, and be able to find that purpose that you may align with. So
I would also add to it, like for people that have like a friend group or a core, also reach out and be like, hey, look, I want to see you. I want to hang out. I want to kick it. Like in times of whatever you're feeling, that's the point of friendship. That's the point of brotherhood. That's the point of sisterhood. That's the point of having friends. Because after a while, I believe like your friends should become your family. Yeah. Like if it's real, like if you're spending
you said it right, bro.
Years with like, especially with guys, like if you've known somebody since you were a kid, I mean, just referring to like your homie as your boy or your friend. Yes, there's a friendship, but that's your brother or that's your cousin. Like that you become family at a certain point. So you should reach out like, hey man, you might vent, you might not, but just be like, hey man, I need to be around my boys. I need to be around love. That's normal. That's the point of having a brotherhood. Yeah. That's the point of having your boys, your friends, which is a brotherhood, that camaraderie. That's the point of it. Yeah. It's for times of need. Now, yes, you go out with your boys, you do things, you have fun. That's cool. That's a section and a faction of that. But the reality is times of need, times of hardship, times of feeling whatever you're feeling, lonely, anxiety, whatever you might feel. It's like, no, I need to be around my brothers. My brothers need to be around me. That's the point. Yep. That's the point. So reach out to your boys, whether you want to express what you're feeling or not. Just be like, hey, look, I need to be around my boys. What you all have going on? Either pull up or I'll pull up. Yeah. That's helpful. Sometimes you just need to be around your boys.
Yeah, it's needed.
And then you go back and you're good because you are around love. love is the answer. Love is is pure. So it's like,
love cures too.
Yeah, and it cures. Too. Absolutely. It cures and it's pure. So it's like being around your brothers is essential. It's essential, man.
I saw a stat on Instagram last week talking about the average man is experiencing depression. I think they said by an upscale of 15% more than they were experiencing it in the early 90s. And they talked about the main reason for this was because men felt alone.
Yeah.
So I think perfect to your point again, dude, is understanding that brotherhood is everything. Absolutely. And I'm speaking from that by like being the prime example of when I first moved out here to Arizona in 2020, I had 0 friends. I moved out here on a whim, and the goal was to make friends that I aligned with and that could obviously help me out in the areas that I wanted to pursue, you know, my hobbies and interests and passions in. You know, it took me 4.5 years to come across, you know, Julian and Deshaun. And, you know, it came with time. It came with meeting the wrong people. It came with, you know, having to find myself and being an area that I was able to open myself up confidently and know what I offer in a friend and as a brother. So that way I could be in the situations to, you know, sit here and have 2 genuine brothers. And I think, you know, when I've found to pour that type of energy into my cup, bro, I receive so much more than I feel like I give out to, you know, hanging out with these 2 on a weekly basis. And again, for guys that are out there that are lonely, it cures, because I was in that similar place of just feeling alone from a sense of not having true homies. Yeah. And now I got 2, and you know, my cup's full.
For sure.
You know, you wake up feeling different. You wake up understanding that you got love in your life, and that at any given moment, if I need to text them and be like, yo, bro, like pull up. Yeah. They'll pull up. Yeah. I'll pull up. And that's an understanding that we both have.
Absolutely. Without even being explained. Like, you just know that. And I would also add to close in regards to, like, you know, what things people can do to like just help with that. I would say, I know we're in a space of, and I know I mentioned it before, and I get it. We're in a space of like social media and things like that. But, you know, in times of people feeling a certain way, whether it is loneliness or anxiety or just feeling down, I would advise just hop off social media. Hop off in the sense of like log off and delete the app, because you don't want to start then seeing certain things. Yeah. That, and I know this word can be used, you know, maybe too much and overly, but it can actually trigger, and I mean that in a real way, as far as trigger loneliness or trigger anxiety. No,
that's a great point.
Trigger when you're going through something, and then you're seeing whether it's family or people taking couples photos or matching photo, whatever it is, it can now trigger however you feel and amp it up. You don't need that. Yeah. You need solace. You need peace. You need reflection. You need prayer, which is first and foremost. So it's like really logging off and just having time to yourself and being and not having that idle time, spending it on social media and then seeing all these things that are just going to boost your anxiety, boost how you feel, boost, you know, just certain things. That's super essential. And I think sometimes people, and I think most people have been in that space, not realized how, I don't want to say they're being controlled, but there are things that are controlling them without them knowing that they're being controlled.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that has to be realized. It has to, especially when you're going through things. You have to pinpoint, okay, what's making me feel a certain way, or what's going to amp me feeling like this. And being on social media and seeing all these things in the midst of going through things, it's never going to be good. It's never going to be good. So realizing like, okay, I might be feeling like this. Let me just take a step back. Let me log off. Let me delete this off my app, off my phone. And let me just be in the moment.
Just evaluate, bro.
Like, evaluate. I think that's very, very imperative. And that's needed. And one could probably see like, you know, things will start to go away. Yeah. Little by little, by just being in the moment and being, you know, around love and being with themselves and just being, you know, cognizant of like not being bombarded with all these different like cues.
So, no, that's a great point. And with the evaluation comes, you know, the answers and what we're looking for. And I think, like you said, I think we get on social media to find the answer, right? Which you're going to get an answer when you're on social media as a guy, whether it's, you know, something that's concrete, as simple as like, oh, how to, you know, work out or do a better workout for my back, or the answer of being lonely. Yeah. And the void that it's filling is making you more lonely by looking at all of the things that Julian just got done talking about. So although it may seem extreme to delete, an app. And I would say, dude, honestly, I think a lot of people would struggle because of the minor addiction the FOMO behind, using social media. But I mean, I've done it before, and I feel like it's a detox in a sense, right?
You're not missing out on anything.
Well, you really get to see, like, bro, life is kind of beautiful off the phone.
It is beautiful.
Like,
it's very beautiful,
like,
man.
And it's so ironic to say because we are looking at it, we use it all the time. Like, more and more things are getting added to the phone, so that way it makes you even more glued to the phone. But if you just throw it away for, a few hours, even just looking up, you see how amazing and, how much your cup will be full if you get to experience life without being in a screen.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, dude, I think that's to end that. Like, I think that's those 3 tips for guys out there. I think those are very essential for you guys to use on an everyday basis, whether it is deleting your social media or, doing an evaluation of yourself and knowing what to move forward in and what not to move forward in, and surrounding yourself around a good group of men, a good brotherhood that you can trust and that you can rely on and give and show love to. Yeah. So, Julian, I want to ask you another question and, answer it however you want. But to put a blanket statement over us guys, what do you feel like is one of the bigger issues that we struggle with in the time of being lonely?
Generally speaking, most times guys will probably adhere to vices. Usually it'll probably be women.
Yeah.
Which is understandable in a sense of, like, we understand how men work. Now, having said that, I mean, we've all been through certain things. So it's like, I get it. But if you're on your path and you're trying to do better, there are other things that you can do. There are other things that you can do in regards to, like, when you're feeling a certain way, i.e. be in the gym, things we've spoken about time and time again. But these are things that we actually are doing. We actually do, and we speak about these things. So we're just speaking about it on camera, but we talk about this all the time. So being in the gym, reading, we talk about books all the time. Being in the gym, reading, and being around brothers. Like, those things, like, we're speaking about that, but this is real life.
Yeah.
Like, what we're speaking about are things that we're living. And we also speak about, not in a sense of just women, but like trying to refrain from certain things, being better, working on certain things, like, the day-to-day things that men go through in regards to, you might be going through something, but it's like, nah, bro, stay strong. Or like, stay in the gym. Or for sure, stay prayed up. Stay, like, continuously read, pour into yourself, invest into yourself.
Yeah.
Take that time and actually pour into yourself, not fill it with all the other things that we understand guys can fill it with.
That's facts,
which
bro.
we understand. We have understanding for it because we're men. So it's never to knock because we understand it.
No, yeah.
Like, we definitely understand it, and we've been there, and it's things that we continuously are trying to get better on. So that's just the reality. But having said that, there are other things that your time can be utilized to benefit yourself. But we also understand why men defer to certain things as well. So we can never knock.
It's never a knock. And I think the way you answered it was perfect. And I think the biggest vice that you mentioned was the women part. And I think the place that we're coming from is a sense of understanding that it is a problem for us men. And, I think for me, I take myself back to my early 20s and being in this exact environment, right? To where, man, I come from such a very loving family. And it's like, during these times for the holidays, it's like all of us are together. We're having dinner all the time. We're setting up, Christmas trees. And then to step out of that after, like, you're 18 or 19, and then it just stops. Yeah. You move out to a different state. It's hard, bro. And I'm only speaking for guys. Like, I think guys have just as much emotions as women and feel just as deep as women. We just have a harder time with channeling that and being able to express it. But I think the reason why we, in this case, use women as a crutch to kind of fill the loneliness is because we're hurting.
For sure.
And we don't know how to apply that energy into practical things like the gym, like reading, like, finding a hobby or a passion. And I think the easy route to go about it is, amongst anything, put yourself in a group of people that you may not align with, but it's just there to feel comforted. I'm not even going to say just women, but it could be the nightlife scene. For sure. It could be a group of people, like you said, that just, they fill that void And that feels good in that moment, but when you get away from it, it's just completely knocked. You feel worse after. Sure. So I think other than women, guys tend to struggle with that. And the only way to get out of it, and it's such a challenge, I will say, it's such a challenge to get to this point where I'm at right now and implementing the habits that I have, because of the fact that you don't have a foundational purpose of what's right from wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not having conversations with bros like, dude, I don't know how to get out of this. Like, I'm just kind of going in a spiral right now with things and using all these vices. And I don't feel good at the end of the day, but I want to feel better. And until you get into that point to have those conversations or be real with yourself, I feel like you're going to go in this spiral and this spin for the rest of your life, you know? And it's important as us men to recognize it and find accountability in ourselves to start 5 pages turns into 10 pages.
Yeah, absolutely.
20 push-ups turns into 50 push-ups. You know what I'm saying? Like, a process is what comes with us. And we're so competitive that we don't even want to just open a book for 5 pages, bro.
For sure. Yeah,
you know, like.
Now, you're right, man. And I think too, like, we are speaking about the remedies and things that men can do in regards to like feeling lonely or certain things like that. But the reality is, although there are things that you can do in regards to when you feel that, and that's understandable in regards to just men, all of us, you need to feel that. Like, there are times in life, like you said it very well. You get out the house, wherever you're from, whether you leave your home, your parents' home, or wherever you live, or you go to college, or whether you're out on your own. Now, as men, we need challenge. Mm-hmm. We need challenge. So you're gonna need to be in a space to where you're like, I'm feeling this. Yeah. Like this, like it's like there's family's not around, or my norm isn't around, or because what's the byproduct of that? If you understand what you're going through, you're gonna grow. Yeah. We talk about sports all the time. You need to be battle tested. You need to go up against another team to where it's like, oh no, they're nice, or they might even be better than me. That's true. Like, like, you have to experience that, or else if you just are constantly going up against teams that you know you're better than, you're going up against players you know you're better than, you don't feel anything from that. You need to be battle tested. So if we apply that to the real world, real life, there are times where you need to feel like, man, I don't know what to do. There's nobody around. I'm by myself. How do I get myself out of this? And not in a like, woe is me, there's nobody around. No, okay. All right, yeah, I can lean on my boys. You can do things like that, but all right, there's nobody around. I'm in the gym. Whether you spend an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in the gym, you just might be on a treadmill, you might be listening to music, you might just be game. You need that. You need times of like, nah, I need to pour into myself. I need to read. I need to just walk around my neighborhood. I need to take a jog. I need to journal. I need to like, you need to feel it. You need to feel that. I often refer to it as mining. When miners are in the ground. That's a good social example. Media and Instagram and all these things, that's above mining. When you're mining, you're looking for gold. That's your purpose. That's who you are as a man, who you want to become. It's crazy if you were to go down into a mine. We're not seeing what they're going through. Definitely, they're going through some craziness. That's a darkest in darkness. Pit. That's a dark pit. And literally, the only light that's probably coming from is maybe some lights like this set up, or that's lights that are coming from the flashlight of their helmet. But they're in darkness. But they're chipping away. Chipping away for gold. Yeah, that's a metaphor for life, bro. You're gonna need to be in some darkness. Not darkness as far as dark, but darkness as far as like, man, I need to figure this out. Yeah. A spark is going to arise from that if you understand what you're going through. You can't get pulled out every time. You can't get pulled out. And it's a test. If we know the battle is already won, Jesus has already given us victory. We know this. Yeah. We have to understand like, okay, God, you know what I'm going through. You're here with me. It might not feel like that, but we're just speaking realities. He said the victory is yours already. Amen to that. So you have to go through it for real. You have to, because one day, men that aspire to have families or want to chill, like, you're going to be the head. You're going to need to have gone through certain things to be like, I can handle this. I've been through it. If you haven't been anything, how do you expect to have a family or a wife or a woman or kids that are looking at you and saying, Dad, what are we going to do? And you've never been anything, so internally you like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Nah, you need to be like, nah, I've been through this before. I'm going to figure it out. Y'all don't worry about it. I'm going to figure this out for us. What gives you that? You being in spaces before to where you've done it before. So yes, we speak on remedies of being able to like lean on your brothers or go to the gym, and these are needed, but you're gonna need to go through these things to do those things for the betterment of you as a man.
Yeah, especially if you're holding yourself accountable to it. Like it's not. I think the easiest way to explain it is it's not like, I did it again. All right, well, maybe tomorrow. No, it's very much an intellectual type process, which I mean, a lot of guys that are in their early 20s don't have that, bro. And it's not an excuse. It's never about the excuse, but you got to really understand when you're in that moment, like asking yourself certain questions of, all right, like I messed up, but like I know I need to get better. And it's a feeling thing, bro. Internal. I wouldn't even say it's just right from wrong. I think it's a gut feeling that you finally get to when, I mean, for us, we pour into our faith. You know, certain things don't feel as good once you continue to do them after you pour into your faith. And I'm saying that firsthand, like experiencing that. It doesn't feel as good to do certain things as a man anymore. And as much as, you know, distractions and other things can come into play, I think foundationally, bro, you can easily look back and see the depth of a man based off of the darkness he's seen. And I mean, I'll speak for both of us. I feel like we've both seen darkness in our own ways. You know what I'm saying? And I don't wish anyone to go through the exact same darkness, but I do feel like you said darkness brings a balance to a man's character. And it can be really viewed as something that, man, is this guy like a trustworthy friend?
Absolutely.
Can he be a trustworthy partner?
Absolutely.
Can he be a trustworthy father?
Absolutely, yeah.
And if I had to choose between a perfect man, which there is none besides Jesus, and a man who has been through some real stuff, I would choose a man who's been through some real stuff every time.
It's just like sports. You want teammates that have been through stuff, that are going to fight with you and look at you and be like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
It's no different. And I would say, just to add validity to what we're talking about, in the midst of going through things, and I'll speak very, very honestly, this is what I do. I work 6:30 to 3. Then after I get off, I hit the gym. Then after I hit the gym, I'll come back, or I might go get some food, or I might whip something up real quick, throw something in the oven. Then I'll read. It's nighttime by that time. Like it's later, like it's in the evening. Take a shower, relax. Then I'm asleep. So I say that to say create a routine. If you're going through things, or even if you're not. And right now I'm reading a book called Atomic Habits, but I was doing this even before reading that book. You want to create good habits, because good habits, after a while, it's your lifestyle. So again, if I'm going through something, if I'm not going through something, I'm in the gym. If I'm going through something, if I'm not going through something, I'm reading. So it doesn't matter what I'm going through. I have habits, which I would say are good habits. To which, irregardless of what I'm going through, I'm going to do this. So for any man, anybody, period, that's going through something, create habits, because idle time is a devil's playground. That's real. So if you're just idle, bro. You'll adhere to vices, or you'll lean to, all right, I'm about to see what she's doing. Pull up. Or I'm about to slide over. Like you'll adhere to certain things, or you're just gonna like be watching TV all day. Or no, you need to be productive. So create a routine. If you work, after work, hit the gym. After you hit the gym, come back, read. Or whatever you're gonna do, that's productive. You could knit, you could sew, you could be working on your business, you could be on your laptop looking for certain things, looking up different things, like whatever it is that's productive. Have a routine. And then again, regardless of what you're feeling, it's a routine now. You're gonna feel worse on top of what you're going through if you don't do it.
Going to bed disappointed, unorganized, not ready for the next day. You can't lie
to yourself.
Yeah, man.
That's the reality. You can't lie to yourself. So people can, you can project, oh, you're doing this or you're not doing this. But when you look at yourself in the mirror, you can either be like, all right, I know I'm going through stuff, but I'm still doing what I need to be doing. You could still have a certain sense of pride. Or you could be like, I'm going through stuff and it's just taking over. And I'm not doing anything productive. And it's just going to make it worse.
And then you question, like, what's my life really amounting to?
And then it just makes it worse. So you need productive habits that are going to be like, and all these things are a blend to make you better and get you out of stuff. But it's needed. So I would say one of the biggest things, for one, prayer, number one, but then also have a routine. And we're speaking on things that we're doing now. Just on camera.
The routine is essential, bro.
It's so necessary.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I just got done just tired of the schedule that I was having. I had too much time on my hands to do, things that weren't applying to the business and weren't applying to, the things that I had set out to do before the end of the year. So I completely switched up my schedule. And the difference that I did was I added it to my phone. So 15 minutes for I have 2 work blocks, and then I have a reading block, a push-up block, and a dinner block, and a lunch block. Yeah. When those blocks hit 15 minutes before, I know mentally, all right, it's time to slowly get ready for lunch, or it's time to slowly get ready for content creation. And bro, I would say in the last week and a half, I've seen such a huge transformation in how I feel at the end of my day. When I put my head in bed, I'm like, whoa, that was a productive day. Yeah, and it's like you said, if you do it time and time again, one, you're going to realize exactly how you said it. There is not enough time in this day to do everything that you want to do. And you're laying in bed, you're like, wow, I did all this stuff. Now I know I can add in this if I just add 15 more minutes to it. And I think as a guy, when I feel productive, I feel like him. Like a lot of guys feel like him when they buy a new pair of shoes, they get a haircut. I feel like him when I go through my whole day and I hit every single thing that I had set on my schedule. And I'm just like, bro, you can't beat that. There's a new self-confidence that comes with living and abiding by your habits and your schedule.
Because that's purpose. You're on the path of purpose.
Bro. Yeah.
Whether it's you're on purpose or you're on the path to obtain purpose. Yeah. That's the ultimate feeling for men. That's ultimately what it's about. It's finding your purpose or you're on your purpose. So that should be how you feel from that is the byproduct of being on purpose. That's ultimately what it's about. Either you're seeking your purpose or you're in your purpose. Absolutely. So yeah, all these things that we're talking about, for one, are things that we're doing, things we talk about, and genuinely things that will help, be helpful. It's necessary, but just having idle time and you need to create a schedule for yourself for real, like a regimen. It doesn't have to be crazy. We only have 24 hours, but you can do a lot in that time frame. You can
if you just broke it down into even hour to hour, especially there's so much you could get done. You know what I mean? Like you said, I think just holding yourself accountable to a certain time frame and not just saying, all right, I got 5 hours to fill dinner, maybe read, maybe do this, clean my room. You're not getting to all of those things. Yeah. Maybe 2 you'll get to. But if you set time constraints for everything, millionaires are doing that.
For sure. That's how they got there.
Millionaires move like that. And I think that's the only difference between, somebody that's living an average life to someone that's living a wealthy life is they go about their day. And you'll hear it all the time on these Hard Knock videos. They're going about their day in a very intent way. And it's not an age thing. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a small change to your lifestyle that I feel like a lot of guys don't want to do because it's uncomfortable at first. But everything is.
And it's needed. Bottom line is just needed.
It's crazy because everything just ties back to faith for me, bro. But God is going to show you that's needed at some point in your life, whether it's now or whether it's 20 years down the road. Yeah. Structure is needed. Limitations are needed. Restrictions are needed to live an utmost life. And I think we push back on it as men so many times, regardless of what that looks like. And until we take ownership of it again, of just having the healthy habits that you talked about, bro, it's bound to come.
For sure.
It's bound to hit us. But to move forward in the direction of independence now, I do want to, focus on, what independence looks like. When did you feel like you were truly moving in a way that was, confident and independent in the livelihood that you had?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I would really say when I moved here to Arizona, because I think there's a level of just comfortability you have when you're in your hometown, even when you do have your own spot. I mean, where everybody, your parents or whoever you're around, they're there. Your friends, family, parents, they're all within a few mile radius. 15, 20 minutes,
That's
30.
True.
It could be
That's
even
true.
an hour away. It's still very close. So you still know this cushion is here. Regardless if you outwardly express that, know that. You know that they're around. But when you go somewhere else, you're in a different city, you're around new people, you're figuring now it's either you sink or you swim. It's no in between. There's really no in between. It's either
you do it or you
sink
don't.
or you swim. And that's how I think you really figure it out. And we're speaking on men. That's how you're gonna figure it out. Okay, you're gonna have to start figuring things out for yourself, by yourself, and you'll really see who you're made, like what you're made out of. It's by default because you're gonna go through things. Things are gonna happen. You're gonna have to figure things out. You're gonna have to piece things together. You're gonna have to think analytically, and it's either you figure it out or you don't. Either you operate wildly and you're gonna have to go back home.
Yeah.
Or you start being strategic, smart, game planning, and then you'll see like, wow, all right, I'm making it. I'm here. Months go by, years go by, and it's like, okay, I'm here. Things are gonna happen, but it's a mindset and there's growth that comes. So I would say personally, when I moved here, genuinely, and I moved around a little bit as far as like different cities and things like that.
Okay.
But being here, because I've been here the longest, it's like, and I plan on being here, it's like, it's been here, truthfully.
Yeah, bro. Again, pulling yourself out to like the top perspective and looking down on everything that you've done. I've done that a couple of times where I'm just like, and it's simple things, right? It's like rent's due and I pay my rent and I look up from a top area and I'm like, bro, I really just did that.
I just did that. No, facts.
And I've been doing it for 5 years now.
Dolo,
but like,
facts.
It's not a flex. It's more of like a, wow, I'm blessed to be able to take care of this thing. Again, when so many people are struggling to buy groceries right now, bro.
It's a thankful gratitude.
It's gratitude for sure. It's a good word. And I think, like you said, just having the feeling of being independent, I think that's the easiest way to relate to that as a man is you're doing all this stuff, whether you're going to work every day, you're paying your bills, you're paying your car, you're paying your apartment, like, or your house. You do all that. And I feel like that is what should be giving you the confidence to move in life and continue to do the things that you're doing. Cause it's so, like you said, minute. Yeah. But man, it matters and it's so powerful, bro, because let's face it, there's people that aren't doing it. There's guys that aren't doing it. For sure. And they aspire to get there. But I think the easiest way to face something in the sense of, you know, paying for your own place on your own is to do it.
Yeah. I mean, we say it's the small things, but it's really not, because when you start piecing those things together, like brick by brick, it adds up to a lot. It adds up to a lot. And like you said, when you look, you know, from an aerial surface and you're looking, it's like, wow, I'm doing it. Yeah. Like I'm doing it. And that's the blessing. And that's why I say, like, if people were to just look at things with gratitude, it pulls you up out of that situation. Because regardless of what you're going through, you're like, I don't have to pay all this stuff, like that bill, I have to pay my car note, I need to get groceries. It's like you can get in a space to where it's like, I'm tired of paying for stuff. I'm tired of buying things. But then when you reflect, like, I'm able to buy this. I'm able to pay this. Thank you, Jesus, for allowing me to be able to do this. Gratitude comes in, and it's like, wow. You know, unfortunately, the government is shut down in the sense that people aren't receiving SNAP benefits. People aren't being able to like buy groceries and things like that. And people are really feeling that.
No checks are coming to certain people.
People are really feeling that. You know what I mean? And it's hurting people. Like, you know, just coming from certain environments, like I can understand that. I understand people not being able to receive certain things. So then being able to do that on our own volition, it's like, well, that's a blessing, man, because there's certain people that are feeling that. Yeah. And they're really not being able to do certain things. So have the perspective of, thank you, God, I'm able to go into the grocery store and get the things I need and then put them in my
I say that all the time.
Like
all the time.
It matters, man. That's not small. That's not small. No. So again, gratitude is the answer, because with gratitude, that's where also more blessings come in. You have to be thankful for what you have to get more.
To get more,
man. Like, dude, and it's not like you're doing it to get more, but you're doing it in like genuinely being thankful, genuinely being grateful.
You continue to please God. God is going to give you more at the right time,
man. Absolutely, and be a steward, because we're all just stewards over what we have. Like none of this stuff is ours. It's not ours.
It's not ours.
So we're just a steward over it. So what type of steward are you? Like, are you going to be a grateful steward, or are you just going to be a steward that just is frivolous with their things and then expect more? That's not how it works. So
and I just thought of this in terms of, you know, the store scenario. I think a lot of times too, guys can be in the independent, you know, realm and the loneliness realm, but their actions aren't showing, like you said, in terms of you have your own story, you know, things aren't yours, but you're not able to be selfless and give and share with others. You know? And I find that, you know, a lot of friendships, we'll just speak on friendships right now, but like a lot of friendships are one-sided and people's lives. And it's because you got people that are moving in selfish ways, not only in relationships, but also in friendships. And man, if you can't even be selfless in friendships as a guy, like I would say that you don't know how to operate, with some type of decency, and you're able to, share things in life that others maybe not be as fortunate to have, or even education and knowledge, bro. Like sharing knowledge is so important. And I feel like we're kind of in this gatekeeping realm still, to where things want to be kept to certain things. So we're not sharing too much. And I get that there's a whole boundary with that, but as men, I think we're in our situations individually because of the things that we are doing, just as much as that we're not doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And reciprocity is normal.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be, honestly. Yeah. Like you should be in a mindset to where it's like, whether it's a friendship, whether it's any situation, somebody holds a door for you, you should want to hold the door for them. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just reciprocity. So that goes with anything else. If somebody does something for you, naturally you should just be like, wow, I want to do something for them. But for it to just be like, oh, they did this for me. They did this for me. They did this for me. I'm just going to receive. It's like, well, that's an internal thing at that point. Truthfully, I would say that's a character flaw, because it should naturally be like, wow, you did this for me. Let me do this for you. And not that you're just going back and forth with it. It should naturally be within you to be like, man, let me bless you. You bless me. Yeah. Let me do this for you because you did this for me. Like, that's the order of operation. That's how anything like is going to have longevity. So everything is a mindset, man. But yeah, I think it's really just, it's internal. It's looking internally and then outwardly maneuvering a certain way. But to what you were saying, man, like reciprocity is essential. Like I would say if one isn't operating in reciprocity, or they're constantly giving and they're saying somebody else isn't operating the same way, I would say just remove yourself. Remove yourself, whether it's one of the homies or that's a woman. In any situation, if reciprocity isn't naturally ensuing and occurring, leave.
Yeah, because there's certain situations that you just can't teach.
Can't. We talked about that.
You know what I mean? Like,
can't teach somebody that. Yeah.
You can't teach core elements like that in certain situations. Sometimes people got to go through that on their own and figure it out. Now, if we're talking strictly like, depending on how long the friendship is with another homie, like if you've mentioned it to him before, I feel like that's all you can really do. Because again, we're talking about guys and egos, and some guys are further than others in maturity and understanding and, just education behind what that looks like. But that doesn't mean that it's the same on both sides. So I would say it's a fine line between letting know and just, you said, accepting for what is and letting them figure it out on their own. Yeah. Because there's people out here that are like that, man. It's in the positive way. Like, I do think our world is full of people who show that type of love. That's what it comes down to. Like, show that type of love. And I don't find that this world is as nasty as people make it or try to make it to be. But I do think that the bottom line is keeping your eyes open in those areas that you do see it. Because we've talked about it. Like, I've seen it happen so many times at the grocery store, man. Just hey, like, you have 2 items, go ahead and come in front of me. Sure. Like, that's selfless, man. And it's decency. And it's just, it's beautiful, because when you see it firsthand, you're like, wow, I want to do that for someone. Whether it's as simple as holding a door open a little bit longer for that person from the other side to get there. And you're just adding into the whole positivity that's going on in someone's day. And that makes people's days.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
So before we wrap up, I did want to kind of cover that we went back home, and it was Julian's first time in Las Cruces. So I wanted to ask you, bro, like, what was that experience for you? And just hanging out with the parents. I feel like that was a good amount of time that you were around my family. Yeah. And got to see what we do. Like I said, since we were 4, like that's basically what type of lifestyle it was. Yeah.
I mean, you already know. But yeah, to reiterate, like, man, it was a great time. The World Series was going on. You had your tournament going on. Most baseball I've ever watched.
It's a lot of baseball,
it
bro.
It was a blessing. Like, it was a blessing. The food Mom Dukes made. You know what I mean? The chorizo. Like, all of man. It was the cookies.
The cookies.
Like, man.
Yeah, the Cookie Monster cookies, over here, bro. They're gonna have 2. They're gonna have 2 of those next time.
Man, just going into like the mountains, like basically it was like a safari type vibe, man. Fun. Just everything was just filled with just like love and beauty, you know what I mean? And really just like watching the World Series was such a blessing with you and Pops, and just seeing how, like, you know, we've talked about it, but just how you all were analyzing the game and the breakdowns on the game, and how much I learned just from being there about the game.
Yeah.
You know, it was a beautiful thing. And just, you know, I was there for, you know, game 6 and game 7. And that was the best baseball I've seen. You said game 7 was the best, you know, game
I've ever seen.
And like, man, it was the time that we went, and the time holistically it was beautiful, man. Like the World Series, the games, like how the games went, and just, you know, just the dynamic of just being around family, being around love, being around great food, you know, constantly, you know, going to the different like games for your tournament. Like it was a great, I mean, we only went out one time, and that was cool, but everything else was predicated off family, love, you know, sports, and just genuine love, man. Genuine love. And it was like it was a blessing, man. Like, and that's why when you hear things like about like timing or like, you know, it's the perfect time, when we reflect back on just everything that occurred, bro, just the timing of it, like being there for game 6 and game 7.
No, for sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Being there for your tournament, like just everything, how it orchestrated, that's really God's timing. Like it couldn't have been timed.
That's a great
better,
point.
Man.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Think about how, like, everything, if we reflect on everything that went down, there was so much that happened within we got one full day there. Like we got there Friday night, Saturday, full day Saturday, then left Sunday. So there was so much that happened within that time frame. If we reflect back, there was so much that happened that was just like, man,
it seemed like we were there for a while. Bro, with all that happened.
So much, but it didn't feel like we did a lot. But that's what happens when you're around love, like genuine love. Like it was just, man, it was a blessing for real. And that's why I say, like, because I've been reflecting on it, man, you know, and just like everything that happened, it felt like we were there probably like 4 or 5 days. We were only there.
That's
really
how it feels
2 days, and we
with
put
the races.
Friday and Saturday together. We were there 2 days. I mean, Friday and Sunday. Saturday was the full day. Like, bro, it was so much that happened. So much that happened. So it was a blessing, man. It was a great time. Las Cruces. Yeah. And we went to the gym. We went out.
That's right. We didn't go to the gym.
Las Cruces Las Cruces is asleep. Hey. Yeah.
He's getting sniped over here, bro.
Man, no, that's a different conversation. This the real sniper. But no, like, man, it was a blessing. It was a blessing, man. It was a great time. I look forward to going back. It was a great time, man. Genuinely. It was filled with love and, like, man, just everything that orchestrated. It was just like, man, it was a blessing for sure.
The way you positioned that, bro, was beautiful. Like God's timing. I think to kind of wrap all this up in this conversation about being lonely and being independent, I couldn't sit here and have experienced that trip with you if it wasn't through going through the darkness of the loneliness seasons of not having true friends in men. You know what I'm saying? And again, God's timing aligned us for a year to be in that position and be like, yo, Julian, do you want to come?
Yeah.
You know, and I think if we really were to, you know, dissect everything, you can't explain that. Like you can't really be like, oh, well, you know, it was bound to happen where you found a dude that you aligned with and, you know, that turned into a friendship. Like you can't explain any of that to anyone other than just knowing that it's the divine.
That's really God, man.
And it's God and it's like, faith and consistent work, bro. Because we wouldn't be homies if we didn't have aligned values and work ethics and, you know, just things that we saw somewhat eye to eye on.
And it just happened organically. Like how it just,
man, that's a crazy story. Like we'll gotta get to it sometime.
But it's still reflecting.
Bro.
Think about.
But I will say this.
It matters.
Yeah, I will say this, bro. Like I'm appreciative for how it happened.
No, I
you know,
too,
like
for sure.
Like, and I think.
For sure.
I think the way it happened, it
else?
saved me in a way.
Like
no, for
else?
sure.
Like how
no,
else?
yeah,
You know
yeah.
I mean? Like how
definitely.
else?
It saved me in a sense, because bro, I was so like lost as a man in trying to figure out like who I could lean on from men.
For sure.
You know, you can't lean on specific things or have, you know, areas that you just always put your baggage on. And I'm talking about my baggage on, you know? So being able to find that, and then again, a year later, have you experienced Crucial with me? Bro, that I was just, there were times where, and I haven't shared this with you or my dad, where I would just like sit back and, you know, see you with the family and see you with Pops. And it's just, bro, that's all I want is to see my friends just with my loved ones.
That's
like that is
bro.
full for me. You know what I'm saying?
Likewise,
So
for sure.
I appreciated that. And I think now when we're talking about game 6 and 7, it's like, bro, that's memories that,
bro, that
we
was,
30 years down the road, we're going to be talking about
that. Yeah.
Like that's going to be something cool. And just being able to have and share that memory with you, my dad, my mom, like, man, that was amazing,
that was epic,
bro.
Man.
That
like,
was
really, those were
crazy.
epic games.
Yeah.
Like
that's history, bro.
And I know those were epic games for you and Pops as like baseball players.
For sure.
Like actually players. So you're speaking about the game, you're thinking about the game. I'm hearing you all analyze the game. And actually me just watching it as a casual. I mean, I played T-ball as a kid, but like I didn't go further than that. It was soccer and basketball for me. But knowing like, wow, for any athlete that's watching something in that magnitude, that's like, man, those games were man.
And by the end of both of them, now you know baseball. Like,
no, for sure. Definitely with being with you and Pops, I definitely like am well more equipped with watching, but just as a casual, just watching it, bro, those, and I've watched, of course, we've been to baseball games, like I've watched games, but those were 2 exciting games, man. Like, just seeing, I'll finish with this, just seeing how you and Pops like embraced after they won. And you were like, I told you. And Pops was like, yeah, but I would just don't say anything just yet. Like we had to wait it out. Like, nah, it was beautiful. And Pops was like, you know, just being like, don't go for the home run. Like, listen, don't go for the home run. Just go for first base.
Yeah, like just get a hit.
Just get a hit. Just get a hit. Just get a hit. And I'm watching Pops and he's like praying. He's like, just get a hit. Just get a hit. And you're looking at him. And then they win. And then it's like, I know the neighbors heard it, but it's like, forget it.
It's like we're there with them. Yeah,
it was pure love, man. It was a beautiful thing, man. Like it's something that can't, like even explaining it, can't really like get the fullness thereof. Because being in the midst of it, even going to the restaurant watching game 6. It was other Dodgers fans in there.
That was
you know
cool,
what I mean? Like, and everybody was just like rooting and like, man, it was beautiful, man. Like
you got the full community home.
Yeah, no, for real.
Values
like,
of that city, bro.
It brings like sports really we know this though.
Yeah, for sure.
Brings people together. Like, man, it was just like Dodgers fans are everywhere.
Everywhere.
Like, man, for real.
Traveling packs.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful. It was genuinely like it was a real like lifelong memory for real.
Nah, bro, I'm glad that we both could have that in our own ways.
For sure.
Like I said, for the guys that are out there watching this and, you know, continue to stay consistent with watching the content that we put out, all these experiences where we're at now, a year ago where we started this didn't happen on anything but getting out of our darkness and becoming, you know, independent in our own paths that allowed us to align and be introduced at this given moment, bro. So, Julian, I appreciate you, bro.
Love, bro.
I can't wait to see what we put together the rest of this year. And man, we're ready to go. We're blessed. We're humble. We're determined.
And I'll just finish with this, bro, because you said something that was very, very powerful. Like in regards to just men wanting certain things, pray and ask God for that.
Yeah.
Like if you want brotherhood, if you're seeking like a friendship, and it only takes one person. Like
it
doesn't take a whole pack because that's not really what it's about.
No, man.
It's really just one. Like pray and ask Jesus, like Jesus, bring somebody into my life. Allow me to be put forth into somebody's life that we have like the same mindset. We have the same principles, the same values. We operate the same. We can build a real friendship and a brotherhood. It will happen.
Yeah.
Like pray, ask and you shall receive. So genuinely like pray and ask God for what he says. He knows what your heart desires.
Yeah.
So pray for it. Whatever it might be. Now you still have to work. You still have to go do things because faith without works is dead. But like pray. I'll just leave it at that. Pray and ask God for whatever you're going through. And give it some time and be on your purpose and things will get better. Like I promise you that things will get better. So I just wanted to say that because you mentioned that and it made me think about that.
No, I appreciate that. That's powerful, bro.
Yeah.
You know, trust it, have faith in it.
Yeah.
We love you guys.
Love, my God.
You, bro.
Absolutely.